Hey, it's Deborah Poneman, founder of Yes to Success, where we share knowledge and tools for you to create your ultimate life and ageless anti-aging for your brain, your body, and your bliss. Have you ever heard of the term sacred activism? It was coined by British author and religious scholar Andrew Harvey. The definition of sacred activism is basically the coming together of spirituality and activism. It's activism that comes from the heart, activism that's kind, that's compassionate, that's positive. It can be fierce, but it's not about being against something. It's about being for something. And it's embodied by this quote that we probably all heard from Mother Teresa, who, when asked why she wouldn't attend an anti-war rally, she said, "When you have a pro-peace rally, I will be there." So sacred activism is a way to channel our desire to make a difference in the world in a way that's kind and creates solutions and doesn't add to the problem. It was actually exhibited this week by Tyree Nichols' mother, asking people to please protest peacefully, although she also said that if we do nothing, then the blood of the next child who's killed is on our hands. So where do we start when we feel helpless, like nothing makes sense in our world anymore? Well, sacred activism is having a passion for justice, but not just talking to our friends about how bad things are, but taking action, doing something, or as they say, putting your money where your mouth is. So when we do that, we not only help the cause, but we experience our own rebirth, a rebirth in our own souls. When we feel like we really made a difference in the world, instead of just talking about making a difference, when we put our heads down on our pillows for our final breath, we'll have peace, knowing that we lived a life worth living. And many are waking up to the fact that injustice, that racism, religious and cultural and lifestyle intolerance, even situations like climate change that we're witnessing daily, or inhumane immigration policies, or blatantly lying to undermine democracy, are not just going to go away if we complain to our friends enough or shout at the TV. The exciting part is that so many people are waking up and wanting to make a difference, and there is strength in numbers. When we are all in this ship together, if it goes down, we're all going down. But if we do our part and we lift it up, then we'll all be lifted. You know the words of the cultural anthropologist Margaret Mead, who said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." So would you like to be a part of that small group? If your answer is yes, what I recommend to do is simply something every day. Stop talking and start doing. Stop being depressed and scared about what's going on and say to yourself, snap out of it. Wake up. The world needs you. The world needs your contribution. Just do something every day. You have to start somewhere other than cringing at the news and feeling helpless and talking to your friends about how helpless you feel. The great teacher Byron Katie said there's no access to transformation inside that kind of conversation. Just find a way to use your God-given talents. Do you love children? Volunteer at an after-school program where you can help kids with their homework. There are children whose parents have to work 2 or 3 jobs just to put food on the table. These kids need you. Actually, I'll share a story with you. I mean, not that I want you to think that I'm some kind of Mother Teresa, but years ago, we had a young man living with us, and my kids and I were helping him with his Constitution test. Remember, Constitution test is in the 8th grade, so the kid was 14 years old, and we're helping him study, and he starts to cry. And I go, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Are we pushing you too hard?" And he said, "No, I'm crying because this is the first time anyone has ever helped me with my homework." 14 years old. You know how many kids out there are just like him? If you're a visual artist, find a way to help kids or survivors of abuse express their emotions through art. Do you feel agony when you hear about, for example, a young man of color being incarcerated for years for being falsely accused of something like stealing a backpack. Become a big brother or sister and form a relationship with one of these kids and be their advocate when there is no one else to advocate for them. So that tragedies like what happened to Khalif Browders, if you don't know who he is, look him up. So something like that never has to happen again. If he had someone to advocate for him, he'd be alive today. Or volunteered to take kids to an amusement park or the zoo or the planetarium, or teach them yoga or breath or how to express themselves through improv. Whatever is your passion, use it for good. Do you care about the planet? You can engage in sacred activism by just stopping excessive consumption, make a smaller carbon footprint, ride a bike. You know, something that I did, I think it was 2013. Well, it was a long time ago. Every time I had the impulse to purchase something that I really didn't need, like yet another cute shirt or a $4 cup of fancy coffee, I stopped. I asked myself if I really needed that thing, and I put the money into a fund. And at the end of the year, I donated over $3,000 to charity. And I did not miss even one of those things I didn't buy. As a matter of fact, I'm happy that I didn't buy them, because now I would just have more things than I would have to put in my storage unit. And when you do those things, you feel so good about yourself, and that joy radiates. We're vibrational beings and attitudes are contagious. That joy of giving makes your attitude worth catching. And you inspire others, and then they inspire others, and they inspire others, and the ripple never ends. And I know some of you are wanting to do something bigger, maybe even go down in history like Mahatma Gandhi or Martin Luther King or Amanda Gorman, or how about Susan B. Anthony? I love Susan B. Anthony. Do you know the whole story about her? She was born in 1820 into a family of Quakers, although she left the Quaker church because of its restrictive lifestyle. Then when she was only 17, she collected anti-slavery petitions. And at the age of 28, she started to organize around equal pay for equal work for women. 1848. And she's organizing for equal pay for equal work for women. Ironic, huh? And from there, devoted her entire life to sacred activism. In 1872, she was arrested for voting and convicted at trial, and she refused to pay the fine. Nonviolently, she stayed in jail. And then in 1878, a senator from California presented an amendment giving women the right to vote, known as the Susan B. Anthony Amendment. Okay, that was 1878. But it wasn't ratified for another 42 years. Yeah, when some of your parents were already alive in 1920, women still could not vote. 14 years after her death, it became the 19th Amendment. I know we'd like to do something really impactful like that and be like, Rosa Parks or Gloria Steinem or Malala. But not everybody was born to go down in the history books, but it doesn't matter. In the Talmud, which is the central text of Judaism, it says, whoever destroys a single life is considered to have destroyed the whole world, and whoever saves a single life is considered to have saved the whole world. So just start with a single life. But one thing you can't do if you want to go down in history is to sit and watch the soap operas all day and drink Diet Coke, or play it safe. My favorite quote from Susan B. Anthony goes like this: cautious, careful people, always casting about to preserve their reputation and social standing, can never bring about reform. Those who are really in earnest must be willing to be anything or nothing in the world's estimation, and publicly and privately, in season and out, avow their sympathy with despised and persecuted ideas and their advocates, and bear the consequences. So sacred activism activism that comes from the heart, activism that is compassionate, kind, positive, activism that's not about being against something, but being for something. That's what we want to strive for. But it's activism, not passivism. So what are you going to do today? I send you my love. Have a great week.